Status is a form of control. By Christopher Breen. Staff writer. Status should not define us. Canadians who identify as Aboriginal may register for Indian status, under the Indian Act. Those who have registered, commonly referred to as a status Indian, have access to a wide range of programs and services at federal and provincial levels. Nick Printup, director of the upcoming documentary Our Sisters in Spirit, said there are some benefits to having status. I have been able to access post-secondary funding, healthcare and some tax exemptions where applicable, said Printup, a member of the Onondaga Beaver Clan from Six Nations of the Grand River. Healthcare for First Nations and Inuit is covered by provincial, territorial, and federal governments, which pay for services provided by insured physicians and hospitals. Many Canadians believe Aboriginals do not pay taxes as well. It is definitely a myth, said Chief Darcy Bear of Whitecap Dakota First Nations near Saskatoon told CBC News. Bear said even those who have status, that are exempt from federal and provincial taxes on income, end up paying taxes other ways. According to Aboriginal Affairs and Northern Development Canada, of the 242,495 Aboriginal living in Ontario, only 181,524 registered. About half of the registered Indian population belong to 126 bands and live on 207 reserves and settlements. Printup, passionate about his heritage, has lived both on and off reserve and said he feels fortunate to have been raised with a wealth of traditional cultural knowledge. I was exposed to both my backgrounds, Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee, Printup said. So I was raised to know exactly who I am, who my family is and where we come from. Printup said many Aboriginals, both status and non-status, lack deep cultural and heritage teaching. Colonial governments in North America, in the mid-1850s, began to identify and keep records of those who were Aboriginal and their bands, or tribes. The records helped the Crown to determine who was eligible for benefits under specific treaties. The Indian Register, created in 1951, brought together all existing records of those identified and recognized as Indians by the federal government. This served as the first set of records of people registered under the Indian Act. Howard Adler, for CBC News, wrote a piece called Indian Status, 5 Things You Need to Know, where he points said, when the legal category of Indian status was created, it was under federal policies of assimilation and civilization, the same policies that created and implemented residential schools. Printup said his status affiliates him with his father's band, Kitigansabai Anishinabeg First Nation, near Maniwaki, K. He identifies himself with Onondaga Beaver Clan, his mother's band. This is where my mother is from and, as a majority of First Nations, we come from a matrilineal society, Printup said. Children follow their mother, which my siblings and I have all been raised to do. Everything is passed down through the mother's bloodline. Printup said he doesn't like the idea of status and cards. Let's call it what it truly is. It's a monitoring system the government implemented to keep track of us, Printup said. I do not know any Canadian-born citizens that have to carry cards identifying themselves as such. So why would the original inhabitants of this land have to carry such a card and let other governing bodies dictate what qualifies them to obtain the status card? Printup states that the subject is complicated. I have known people with very little First Nations blood that have been able to obtain status and others that have a majority of First Nations blood that have not been able to obtain it or have difficulty doing so, Printup said. I think ultimately the system needs to change. At the very least the process needs to be re-evaluated.